Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Dislike it up. Dislike it up. We're going to have a lot of the mainstream haters today coming through. I didn't have mic muted. Thank you for noticing. I almost was going to point that out, but I was like, nah. I've got to just move on. I've got to move on from my mistakes. But I'm glad that I didn't mess this one up. Why the haters? Well, you need to go watch, what's his name? Cat Williams' stand-up on getting yourself some haters. Everybody needs haters. Although he did go crazy, so I don't know if I want to take his advice. But he had a good stand-up sketch about it. What are we going to talk about today? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. I've got some questions that I have written down for Alyse. And she said that she is going to bring some questions to the table as well that we're going to talk about, some topics. Angel from the other side says, you look at least 45, maybe 50. How old is Alyse? Isn't she like 20? Thank you very much. Aging well. I'm actually 60. So you've given me a couple years off my life. Appreciate that. Looking good and feeling good. She uses the metric system, so her 45 is actually 33, which would be my proper age. Hater, hater, hater. Bring it in. Bring in the haters. Come on. Just get it. Get the poison out, guys. Alyse will be on in 25 minutes. How's everybody doing? Did you guys like the update yesterday? We had the 2-week experiment update yesterday, the vegan to carnivore experiment. We did the 2 weeks yesterday with Joe and Chase. That was a pretty good episode. I was very happy with that stream yesterday. And we're going to have them on again in 2 weeks. I'm drinking coffee, just black coffee, as usual. I'm a big fan of black coffee. I'm trying to wean myself off a little bit of the caffeine these days, guys, but I don't know, man. It's calling to me. Vegetable Police is right. Carnivores and keto people, they can't live at all without caffeine. It's true. It's a lie. I know that everybody will think I'm being 100% serious. Just kidding. Relax. You know, veganism aged me, guys. I'm sad to say that I am 33 and I look 33 now. It's a damn shame. If I shaved my face and I didn't have gray hair that veganism gave me, I'd probably look 21 right now. 21. Primal nutritionist, interesting theory and thought. You said you listened to it earlier, but you can't help but think the vegan dude is holding back on sharing the positive effects of carnivore. Interesting. I kind of get that feeling too. It's like he does actually want to dislike carnivore at the moment. And by the way, I don't think carnivore is the way to go for somebody straight off of 10 years of veganism. I don't think it's probably not that smart. You look hella good. Thank you, Tina Knox. Thank you. Appreciate that. Gonna have to pop the shirt off just for you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. If you shave, I think you'll look 21. Yeah, I do. I typically will look way freaking younger. Is there anything you guys want me to ask or talk to Alyse about today? Obviously, a very big guest, and I've had her on the channel before. We did the interview in the park, the infamous interview in the park, which we'll talk about, I guess. We could talk about that a little bit. How her life has been since all this ex-vegan stuff. We could talk a little bit more candidly, a little bit more informally. Whoa, Tina Knox said she wouldn't stop me. Wow, wouldn't stop me from doing what? Breaking into your house? Good Goy Production says he seemed to be pretty honest. It takes time for the body to adjust to such a drastic change in regards to Chase. I think you could be right. Very well could be right. Good morning, redheaded princess. Do you believe you can build muscle on strict carnivore, no dairy and cheese, and just meats and fats? Hell yeah, you can. Of course you can. All the ingredients are there for you to build muscle. Do I think you can be long-term healthy that way? Just eating 100% carnivore? I don't know. But you can definitely build muscle. No question about that. I mean, you're getting a ton of protein. You're getting protein and fat. I mean, you could definitely build muscle. Just eat enough calories, you'll be fine. I need to make Alyse's name tag. I'm a lazy YouTuber, guys. Is raw meat healthy? I think it's okay for you. I'm not super called to eat raw meat myself. I don't think it's like that appetizing sounding, to be honest. So that's my take on it. If something isn't really calling to me, I don't know why I would eat it. Because I'm not going to be able to eat that big of a quantity of it anyways in order to get all of my calories. So I just don't really see the point. If you know what I mean? If it's not something that I want to eat all the time or can eat all the time, I just kind of don't see the point. And I know a lot of people love it, they swear by it and all that, but I don't think it's really for me. Raw meat is pretty tasty. Grant Houston. What diet would you recommend aspiring shuffleboard world champion? Well, a diet of Skittles and M&Ms. Make sure you have plenty of coffee. And possibly some beers. And Tito's vodka. Where is Alyse? Where is Alyse? Don't worry, Daniel. All right? She's coming. She'll be here in 20. All right? Relax, guys. Alyse will be here in 20. I went straight to carnivore after more than 2 years of whole food, plant-based vegan. 2 to 3 day transition. I bet you don't regret that for a second. Raw entrecôte. I like that name for raw meat. It's a cool name. French, right? Carson Flower says, where's Alyse? You mean the beef? I unmuted Eco Steve. I did, dude. I like how you guys are all here busting my balls, but I appreciate it. I did unmute. I was very proud of it, and people let me know. So, thank you. Awesome people that are just so observant. Too observant. God damn it. What are we talking about today? Ryukazi. Ryuzaki. Hang on, I gotta sneeze. All right. What are we talking about today? Well, I don't know. It's gonna be organic, ethereal. I don't know. Just gonna let the vibes flow, see where it takes us. I sneeze in the sun. Yes. Good question. Very good question. Yes, I sneeze in the sun. Wow. Yeah, it's high level scientific understanding. Sicilian says muscle building in carnivore isn't optimal, as vegan isn't optimal either. Transformation of protein into sugar. Better to have fruits, meat, fish, and eggs to adequate gains. Yes, I think that carbohydrates makes the process easier. Obviously, you're stimulating insulin more, and you are potentially helping those nutrients get to the cells faster via use of insulin and the anabolic effects of insulin. Have you noticed any side effects when eating animal products? No. None. Zero. I have noticed only benefits. Literally only benefits. So people are going to say, where's the downside? Well, I guess we have to, animals have to die for me to eat that way, but I do feel a lot better, and I feel 100% better than I did as a vegan. I can definitely objectively say that. So, Good Goy says, I'd rather drink some milk or eat some fruit than have my protein turn into glucose. I mean, the people who are eating heavy amounts of carnivore, like getting their calories that way, they're not suffering from overproduction of glucose. Wow. All ENFP sneeze in the sun? That's you have a foundation for an entirely whole new legitimate epidemiological study right there. You should actually submit that straight to the vegan database. Maybe Dr. Greger will take your study. Kratom. Hey, do you guys know what Kratom is? Do you guys like Kratom? Have you ever tried that? It's like a drug that you mix in your drink. It's kind of like an opiate. Let me know if you guys know what Kratom is. It was really popular in Hawaii, and I've drank it a few times, but it's weird. I have not tried Kevin Stock's approach for muscle building. Do you know that Australia is flooding the U.S. market with grass-fed beef? Meanwhile, Australia doesn't allow U.S. beef import products. Buy Australian grass-fed beef and sabotage the U.S. grass-fed producers. Thank you, Garland Farms. Support Garland Farms, guys. Oh, we got some Kratom likers. Cut from the same cow. Yeah, exactly. Kratom gave me nausea and I felt zoned out for 2 days. That's how I feel when I drink it. Welcome, Vegan Deterioration, to the channel. My zodiac sign is, of course, in the Alyse chat, we have people talking ENFP, zodiac signs. Nah, I'm actually okay with zodiac signs. I've done a little bit of research myself, guys. Come on, it's interesting. Let's be realistic here. I am actually a Cancer. My rising sign, if you're interested, is an Aries. And my moon sign is Aquarius. Kratom has pros and cons. It also depends on the type of kratom. But for people with chronic pain, it can be a life changer. Really? Like a painkiller? Too much kratom will make you feel sick. You know, the thing about kratom is people say that it can help people with really bad addictions like heroin and meth and stuff like that. Like you do like a huge dose of kratom and it starts helping you beat those addictions, which is interesting. Freely is as obsessed with Alyse as much as the Vegan Gains is obsessed with Bobby. Well, we'll see. We'll see if she shows up today. Drew, can you please talk today a little bit about with Alyse about how you cope with pain in case you have some? I have no pain, but I can talk to her about coping with pain, yes. The best way Alyse deals with coping with pain. How about that? If you guys want me to, cover any specific topics, start firing them out at me right now. If they sound good, I'll bring them up in the topic or in the discussion with Alyse. Once I get going, I don't think I'm going to be looking at the chat too much. It's very hard for me to like read both unless the person is either, I don't know, they're looking at the chat. It's hard to do both. If me and the guests are talking to each other, I'm usually locked in. You said Bobby's perspective had one day where he saw in his horoscope to eat the egg, and that's why he ate eggs. Okay, well, I'm okay with that. Anything that brings people back to eating eggs, no matter how dumb it is, even if they're a flat earther, I'm okay with it. Garland Farm is wondering if the diet swap experimenters are going to hang in the full 30 days. Yes, they are. Although they did say that if they could, they would quit the experiment right now if they could, because they're both wanting to make heavy modifications to what they're eating right now. Joe, the guy who went vegan for the experiment, wishes he could be carnivore like right now. And then, I like the topic. And then Chase, he wants to add in some plants as well. But I mean, I told Chase, like, dude, you don't have to be strict carnivore for this experiment, but he wants to do it that way, so that's what he's going to do. So Alyse shared recently that she's actually struggling with some health issues, so we're going to see how much she wants to dive into that. Obviously, I know a little bit more about it, but we'll see how much she wants to share or how much she wants to get into. We'll talk about it. You know, a lot of times people are thinking that when they change diet, it's going to be like some silver bullet. We talk about this all the time. And yeah, she's obviously switched diets to a mostly carnivore diet, and she's still not 100%. So we're going to talk about that. Unlike the vegans, we're actually transparent about our health issues. So we'll try and bring them up as they happen and how we overcome them. I'm writing things down if you guys think I'm not paying attention to you. Okay. Drew, don't you talk to Alyse when she's home? Yes, I do. What kind of question is that? I do talk to her when she's home. Yes. How long did you feel good on 80-10-10? I don't think she did. Well, I can ask her about that. I'll ask her a few questions about raw veganism, actually. Do you feel the loss of spiritual connection once you start back to meat? For some reason, I feel better with fish, egg, fruit, meat, but it seems that I lose that spiritual sensitivity. It's because you're not starving anymore. You're not getting close to death. You want to get real close to nature? Go vegan, and then you'll become real close to death. And you'll start feeling that connection to nature once again because you are on your way out. That's my opinion. It's not backed by any science. It's just a very ignorant, mean statement, but I stand by it because that was my experience and a lot of people that I know. So fucking deal with it. All right, vegans? Sorry, I don't want to get my stream flagged. Dude, my stream the other day with Bobby got completely demonetized. You guys believe that? We were on our best behavior. We got some vegan overlords in YouTube taking my money. Seek Truth Now says all these mind-altering drugs and these substances that are bad for us come from plants. Tobacco, marijuana, opiates, even alcohol, all vegan. Good point. Yeah, I was trying to think of it. There isn't a bad animal product. Like, I can't think of an animal that is, other than like a poisonous frog. I can't think of an animal that's actually bad for us to consume. Drew, once you hear Primal Edge's Oxalate's interview of Sally Norton, you'll probably cut more plants out. At this point, I'm not eating that many plants. I eat them for pleasure, taste, carbohydrate, bonus. I'm not going to take more plants out. I don't care how unhealthy they are. I don't care if it cuts 5 years off my life. I'm good with where I'm at with plants. Frank is educating people and helping them. Maybe your intuition is the one that's not working. I think you're talking to somebody else. People are saying 80-10-10 is like fasting. I agree. Fruitarian gave me the worst brain fog. Oh, no. You need to talk to Ted Carr. He'll coach you right back into shape. He'll teach you how to gain weight on a fruit-based diet. Wesley Morton says, appreciate the challenge, or appreciate the dialogue experiment with Chase and Joe. Challenge Joe next time to name a benefit of the diet change. Felt like Chase was more willing to look on both sides, pros and cons. Okay. I mean, I think Joe was just having a hard time yesterday. He had like a very tough, long week, and he was just feeling tired. So we're not going to blame the diet fully on that. But I mean, let's just be realistic here. He wasn't his normal self yesterday. He's also getting married today, so he like had a lot on his mind. Tanks I like to play says, so what's Drew's diet now? I haven't been on this channel. I eat mostly carnivore, man. Or woman. I've done carnivore, but it's not really where it's at, I don't think. Okay, I will ask her that, Elizabeth Moore. Writing. Did you ever meet Dan McDonald in Hawaii? No, I did not. I wish I did, though. He didn't live on the same island. He lived in Kauai, and I never went to Kauai. I lived on the Big Island. Who started lying about you, Garland Farms? Welcome, Vegan Deterioration. The queen of vegan. She's the female vegan assassin, in my opinion. How tall is Alyse? Tiny. Super tiny. 4'10". Have you seen the video of Owen OG Gale in which he experiments for 6 months fruitarian with pro bodybuilding training to see if he could gain muscle or not? No, I haven't. But I mean, we know about Jonathan Irizare's journey on fruits. He's a professional bodybuilder, pretty much. And he didn't gain much at all. Well, he said he could make gains, but he just didn't feel the same. And he also got injuries and stuff like that. Sorry, I was a little bit distracted there. I'm going to ignore you guys for just a hair second right now, guys. Give me one moment. I need to do something before we get Alyse on. Do people actually use the community tab? It's a real question. It looks like I'm thinking very hard. It's because I am. I am making a thumbnail at the moment. Not a thumbnail. I'm making Alyse's name tag. What the heck? I would never win any competition for being a speed name tag maker, let me tell you. But it'll do, pig. It'll do. Okay. We should be good to go with that. All right. Wonderful. Thank you for bearing with me, guys. You should pay Bobby to make you thumbnails because yours ones suck. Hey, F you, man. All right? I try real hard on these thumbnails. I take my time. It takes me freaking hours to make a single thumbnail. No, Vegetable Police has not talked to me since 4K. I'm going to stalk him full on. I'm flying to Canada. Nobody fucking ghosts me. But yeah, he ghosted me. He big leagued me pretty hard. Ghosted me 100%. I'm a little salty about it. And that's just what it's going to be. It's how he wants to play this game. He wants to play hard to get. I'm going to break him down. Just going to have people start sending him DMs. Begging him. I'll pay him to come on. The graphics for the names look terrible. Okay, you know what? I don't like you. Go away, Blair. All right? I'm very proud of my name tags, and I'm very proud of my thumbnails, and this is as good as I can do. All right? It's funny because you told me that you hate the 3D. You must be like a graphic designer or something because only graphic designers have that issue. Regular people just don't even think about it or care. But my friend who's a graphic designer is like, oh my God, dude, your name tags look horrible. Let me redesign you some name tags. And I'm like, nah, I don't even care. Star Brady. Who's Star Brady? Coming off the vegan lifestyle is a total detox from the mess ideology. Thankful to be out of it. Yes, you're welcome to be out of it. Congratulations for being out of it. Debate against the old vegan Drew. I don't know how that would be possible, but that would be funny. Whoa, Shakodan. That is very uncalled for, okay? We don't know anything about the Sunfruit Dance situation. Let's let him be. But he is not doing too well lately, is he? I saw he made some video recently where he didn't seem mentally stable or something. Thank you, Sicilians. I do my best to question myself and other people. Even when I'm getting good results, I want to know why I'm getting good results. If I'm getting bad results, I want to know if it's the blame of the diet or myself, something that I'm doing. Guys, Alyse will be here. Okay, she's coming on at 10, which is right now. So, relax. I just sent her the email with the invite, like literally 2 seconds ago. Okay. Should be on any second. These people have no chill. The Alyse haters are already in the chat demanding everything. Where is Alyse? We want to tie her to the electric chair. She ate animals. People didn't believe you were coming. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I'll wait till you're fully set up over there. People didn't believe you were coming. Can you hear me? Oh, no. I can hear myself. All right, I'll wait till you're fully set up over there. People... You're a lover, not a hater, Katie. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear it. Keep pumping the love out and show the support in the chat.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Stock
Does
Hippie
it
Jan.
sound good?
Yeah, sounds good. Stock Hippie Jan met her in Kona. Cool.
How's it going?
Let me pull you in now. Really organic. Welcome to the channel. All right, guys. We have Alyse.
No.
And yes, that's from your Instagram. And yes, it has the ring around it. Anyway.
Wow. Oh, wait. This is very peculiar and like laggy on my end.
It's going to be slightly laggy because the way that you see me.
Okay, cool.
But you'll adjust to it.
I just took a shower and washed my eye makeup off, and my eyes are like cracked out. So
you wear makeup? I thought carnivores don't need makeup.
I'm an outlier, Drew.
Okay, I got it. So people wanted to know what we're going to talk about today. I said that we both brought forward some topics that we're going to speak on, and then a bunch of people gave me their own questions that they wanted to have answered. But I think that I should do a little bit of an intro, guys. This is Alyse Parker, aka Raw Alignment.
No more Raw Alignment.
Raw Alignment is gone. So that's an announcement, official announcement right here. You heard it here, exclusive DrewMorg channel. And yeah, so you've recently moved down to San Diego from Colorado. Alyse has been carnivore-ish now for roughly 8 or 9 months. You've been heavily ridiculed online for the past year. You are a business entrepreneur, strong woman, alignment accelerator, program operator, and gym goer. I almost said which gym, but Alyse does everything, guys. She does it all. And she has a beautiful dog who was not adopted.
I was wondering if you're going to include that.
Oh, no, I am.
I gotta be honest, his haircut is really whack.
Okay. So,
anyway.
Let's talk about the last time that you were on the channel. Let's start off there.
Last time I was on the channel. Silo, can you do that quieter?
He can't do that quieter. You need to remove it from his mouth.
Okay, let me adjust.
Caitlin says the criticism of Alyse's diet is bullshit. And Silo is adorable.
Hold
I'm
on,
sure she
I'll be right
appreciates
back.
it.
I need to be a mother.
Great work. Silo is definitely not a vegan dog. He's actually currently eating a bone that he is so loud and annoying when he eats it. But
so last time I was on the channel was when we did our official interview, which was received very interestingly.
Let's talk about that. The internet exploded or imploded.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello? Let me take a sip of this coffee while these kinks are being worked out.
Talk to me.
Hello? Can you hear me?
No.
What did you do? You could hear me 2 seconds ago.
I'm reading your lips, but I can't hear you. I don't know what happened. I just left for a second.
Do you want to check your settings? I can't. She can't hear me.
Hey, 1 second. Wait.
Hello? It's not bulletproof coffee, Tiana. I'm drinking straight up black, like it's probably French vanilla, and it's not good. Yeah, do that. I know you guys can hear both. Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
No.
Your settings are messed up. I don't know what to tell you. Hang on.
I feel like this is somehow my fault, but I just heard you before I walked away from my computer. So...
Give me 1 second, guys. Dr. Michael McCrackpot Farty Brown. Jesus, these names are getting out of control. My GF is so horny since going carnivore. Wow. Good Lord.
Okay, I got it.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. You're a computer expert. You're back.
I'm back.
All right. Round 2. Okay. Welcome back, Alyse Parker. Let's talk about your last time on my channel.
Okay. So
what did we do?
Time we did our official interview where we talked about all the shenanigans that happened after I came out of my dietary vortex.
Yeah, we sat in a park. Alyse and I. So let's give you a little backstory, because now that this is all blown over, it's like the worst rated video on my channel.
Wow.
It's
I'm so sorry.
It's no, it's fine. It's the worst rated video on my channel. It's like 80% dislikes or something. People hated it from the start. There's like hundreds of people that agreed with each other and jumped on her back and were hating very heavily. But the purpose of the video that we did, which was kind of like a follow-up interview to her original coming out as a not vegan anymore video. So it was the first real significant piece of content that you put out since that video. So we gave like a few weeks, or you gave a few weeks of time between your coming out as a non-vegan video, and then we did an interview. Basically, yeah. Alyse and I came up, like, we spent a good couple days beforehand. Can we move on from this? No, you can move on from your life. We spent a couple days beforehand formulating things that we wanted to talk about, what we thought people would want to hear about, and we came up with like the best questions possible to clear the air with, the things that people were most interested in hearing about and were criticizing you the most for. And I felt like we asked every single one of those questions, and you tackled every single one of those questions and answered them honestly, including lying to somebody that was known in the community. And like every single person just came through and was just super hardcore hating on you. In the comment section, it was wild and out of control. Oh my goodness. Do we have you? Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm wondering if my internet is just horrible here.
Just move your laptop around or something, because that box is, you probably have a bad connection to that box wherever you're sitting.
Oh, okay. Can't really move that far unless I want that background.
Oh, I see. The background. Well, anyway, it seems to be better right there.
I gathered everything you were saying, even though
cool.
I was cutting in and out. So yeah, I think that it was very interesting to hear how many people were not happy with Silo was literally dragging my underwear out of my room one at a time. I think it was interesting how so many people were like not content with that interview and thought it was like very biased in nature because of your video titles on your channel and all of that, when it was like, I thought it was quite unbiased, and I thought we were totally tackling all of the things.
Yeah, they were criticizing us for being friends or, dating or whatever, and they were saying like, this is going to be this is an unbiased interview. It's like we didn't say it was going to be. We said we're going to try and be as unbiased as possible, and I don't see how that changed the answers that you gave. I mean, those answers that you gave were exactly what you would say again today. I mean, everything was brought out on the table, and you even brought up stuff like
they were acting, I shouldn't say they, some individuals were acting as if like everything I said was completely irrelevant because you were the individual asking me the questions when like
Right.
anyone could have asked me the same questions and I would answer in the same way.
Right. Yeah, very, very interesting. So, how has the forward progression of that been? How are you feeling these days with where people are at? Obviously, people were, I would say, when you announced your first initial video, there was a lot of anger and shock, let's say. And then following that was just more anger and hate, I would say. There's obviously some people who came forth that were very supportive and very cool, but I mean,
For sure.
since I'm the one who read the comments on that video, I saw the amount of hate that came in, and people were a very interesting phenomena I noticed within the vegan community, especially, is when they make derogatory, hateful, offensive comments, and then you defend yourself, they actually will band together and criticize you for even defending yourself. So it's like, not only do they want to be able to just bash you until you're just a bleeding mess on the ground until they feel like they're finished, they don't want you to defend yourself at all. So I find that very interesting. It's just a community that when the haters come out, it can be a community that is an absolute mob mentality with their hate and their offensive nature, I would say. I don't know. Do you follow that?
Yeah, I follow that. I mean, there's definitely like outliers to that. I definitely have received so much support, and every time I do speak up, people are like, "Heck yeah, like speak your truth," or people are like, you don't even need to defend yourself." Like the people who
Right.
understand me for who I am, they're like, "Don't even speak to it. Just like let it be and don't give attention to it." And I appreciate that about so many people in my community. But yeah, I definitely agree that there are certain people who just had such a hard time with my personal change that no matter what way I handled it, if I was more vocal, less vocal, whatever it would be, there would be no satisfaction. So yeah, I'd say there's just different sides to it.
Yeah, and you and I typically handle difficult situations differently, adverse situations differently.
Yeah.
I if somebody punches me, I want to punch it back, and then you have a different
I
approach.
just filmed a video about this. I just filmed a life update video, and in the beginning of it, it's coming out next week, and I just kind of talk about the way that I showed up in this situation and how, I mean, I won't give it all away, but a little bit about it is just like how I wasn't really aware of how intense everything was. And I didn't show up in that situation, whereas you would have been filming like 5, 10 videos about everything, just like totally standing up to anyone who is telling you off. And
Mm.
I just didn't do anything. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to keep living my life.
So, do you think that you not defending yourself actually made you look more guilty or allowed people to
For
get
sure.
more like? I feel like because yeah, that's a good thing that you pointed out there, and that's cool. You made a video about that. I didn't even know you were doing that, but um, in my opinion, when it comes to YouTube and people just publicly discrediting somebody, and in your case, you have so many eyes on you. You're such a huge YouTuber on the platform, huge person on the platform. Like when the ball gets rolling in terms of like a negative outlook on somebody, other people just seem to like join in because they're
Mhm.
not following every single little back and forth that's going on. So it's like whoever's voice is louder, if the hater community is louder, regardless of
Yeah.
if they have a good reason or not, people are just going to start latching onto that. You know what I mean? It's like you have to keep
Yeah.
that balance perfect. Otherwise, you are going to get swallowed up by that huge loud voice that's just growing and growing until you like speak out and you're just like, hey, like, and that was the purpose of that video that we did, by the way, for anybody wondering. But it really, the ball was already rolling, it was already growing in such out of control nature that from the first seconds of that video, I mean, we had hundreds. How many people were complaining and calling that it was like a conspiracy simply because you premiered it on your channel, and then I'm the one who hosted it on my channel long term. Remember that?
I
You
just
launched it. People were hating and like coming out
I
saying
didn't
like,
even know that.
yeah,
But
it was crazy.
I can't even. And like the thing is what you just said about like this is exactly what I talked about in my video, and I'm glad that I have the opportunity to further discuss it here, because obviously I don't want to talk about it for like 20 minutes in one video. And the thing is that I don't have it in me. I don't have the desire to put forth that same amount of energy and effort to defend myself. I'd rather just kind of continue on and just hope and cross my fingers that people will start to make their own decisions about me based on their own perception, and not just like totally jump on board with someone else's perception because the other person put freaking hours into like creating this illusion and whatever about who I am and what my motivation is. And another thing, like in regards to all of this, is I have so many videos on my channel that like very clearly show who I am and what my intentions are behind doing certain things. Like there's this whole thing that came out about like me and money, and like that I'm like money hungry or whatever. And like I have a video on my channel from over a year ago at this point, my views on money. So like people can watch that and see what my actual views are on money, as opposed to just watching someone's video about me and their assumptions about what my motivation is, and just make their own decisions.
That's a very hard thing for people to do these days, is making their own decisions, making their own assumptions, especially young people. And this is just the way it is, in society. There's your audience in particular, and I'm not hating on your audience. They are people and they're great, but they are also probably the demographic that's most susceptible to groupthink, and people that, that's partially why I think veganism became so popular, is because a lot of young people got involved in it. I mean, I ran a dating app, and I know how many people are women on the app. It's like 70 to 80% of my clients were women, so like there's just a lot more young women involved in this movement, and they typically are the ones that get, all I've seen in my life is they're the group that is most susceptible to groupthink. And then they were the most cruel. I mean, I wasn't getting messages from men that were criticizing it. It was all from young women that were just like saying the nastiest things ever to you. And then if I said one thing back to them, like I called somebody a nobody, who probably called you much worse than that. And I probably had 10 or 15 people making their personal judgments about me for calling somebody a nobody, and because basically what they said was, it wasn't that they told me that they should be thankful that they're even watching the video, but they were hating on the video. They're like, be thankful for, it's like, if you want to hate on somebody's content, don't comment or watch the video. Just leave your dislike and skedaddle out the door. Right. I'm not going to thank you for hating on my content. Sorry.
I think the thing is that it's such an emotionally charged topic. Especially when I was the light for somebody to see veganism as something that could really help them, and perhaps it did help them. And then like here I am as that person, as that figure in their life. And it's very like emotionally charged. And when emotions come into play, people act in ways that they wouldn't necessarily if they weren't so attached to the situation. And I see that for what it is, and I try to not take anything personally. And I also shared in my upcoming video that I've gotten a lot of messages from people essentially saying they're sorry. And those were people who I scroll back in our DMs after I see that apology message, and it's like they were the ones saying the most intense, hurtful things directly to me through DM, not even like on a comment, but like, let me go out of my way to send this really intense, emotionally charged message. And then they came around and kind of realized like, you're just here, you're doing the best you can, you're sharing positive messages. And like, to be honest, I can't tune out of your messages because it's helping me so much. And so that has kind of helped me trust in humanity, and just know that everybody's doing the best they can. And it's just a heated topic and very connected to some people's journeys. And so, yeah, obviously it's unfortunate when people start lashing out and calling you names and then getting upset when you're saying things back. I think it's something they're probably not used to, especially based on the way that I handle those situations. Like, I don't call people anything back. And I think that they're used to just being able to like spew their immediate feelings and like not really think that I'm looking or something like that. So I think it probably just caught a lot of people by surprise that you actually took the time to be like, yo, you can't talk like that.
Yeah. And somebody actually made a comment about, they said that they feel like I'm prolonging this situation by talking about it or bringing it up right now. But
I feel like it's fine to just further talk about it. And like I said a few minutes ago, I'm releasing this video next week, which kind of is me not necessarily furthering the conversation, but kind of say like, oh, I see the situation for what it is. But I feel like it's fine that we're going into more detail. And I think those who are interested in hearing a little bit more about, like, now that we're kind of on the other side of it, at least I would like to think that, like, what are we thinking about it right now? How am I feeling with everything right now? And kind of, yeah, just the whole full circle thing. So I don't think it's prolonging it.
I think that, again, like, with you hear this, you hear people say this with like professional athletes. This is a great this is an analogy. I'm going to make an analogy between professional athletes and professional YouTubers. So you hear with professional athletes, like, they complain about something in their contract, like they have to wear a belt to the press conference after their games or something like that. It's something written in their contract, and if they don't, they get fined. All right. So let's say they get fined. What's that?
Wear a belt?
Yes, basketball players, for instance, you have to wear like a belt or something, or a tie in your post-conference game. If you don't, you get fined like $10,000. Some players literally don't ever want to wear a belt, so they just pay the fine for the year, and they complain about doing it. Okay. So, but here's my point: is that the public, all they see is somebody who's getting paid to do something, getting paid a lot to do something that is seen by others as very easy to do, even though not everybody can do it. They think everybody thinks they can do it, but it's like, oh, just shut up. You're a professional athlete. Just take your big check, and you should travel all over the world and do things that you don't want to do. Yes.
First of all, YouTube does not pay a substantial amount of money, but we'll carry on. But yes, okay, go ahead.
Well, my point is that, relatively speaking, people see you living a good life, or they see other YouTubers living a good life. Okay. And they say, okay, you know, basically, they got lucky, or whatever they think surrounding your circumstances, right? Mm-hmm. But they feel like part of your job is to just take their shit and just to deal with it and just to move on. Like, they basically don't understand that YouTubers are like real life people. Like, yes, you could say that about a professional athlete, maybe getting a little too big for his britches. The guy's getting paid $30 million a year, and like, he whines about wearing a belt. You know, that's different. Whereas like YouTubers, they got to where they're at for being a human being and sharing their experience. There's really no way around that on the internet. You have to share your authentic experience to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. And people want to be able to just come up anytime and just hate on you or whatever, and that should be on your responsibility to deal with it, and that's just part of your job. How do you feel about that? Like, you are a real person, and every YouTuber I've met is a real person, so they all read their comments, and those comments can make you feel some type of way. Like, how do you feel about that?
Okay, so first of all, I want to say yes to everything you just said. There's definitely a fair share of individuals out there who see all of this in the way that you just described. But of course, there's also a lot of people who totally understand how much work I put in, how much has gone into all of this over the years, and how I've gotten to where I am now, because they literally tune into everything and like, they get it. And so I want to just say that and clear the air, because sometimes, like, if I was to just fully say like, yeah, I totally agree with you, that's not taking into account like all of the people who do actually get it, which there's a lot of people who do, and I don't want to act like I don't recognize them. So as far as the individuals who are just perhaps slightly less self-aware and less aware of how this all goes down, which, like, I get it. There's so much that happens behind the scenes that they can't really understand unless they've dabbled with it a little bit, or know somebody personally who does what I do. I understand how they don't understand, you know? And I try to just have compassion for that. But how do I feel when I read certain things? Usually my default mode is to think in the way of what I just said. Like, I'm understanding that they just don't get it and that they're probably having a hard time. Either they're very connected to the situation or they're just honestly having a bad day or a bad season of life and need a way to express themselves, or are seeking attention and validation and wanting other people to like hop on and like their comment or whatever it is. Or they're really connected to the situation and just don't know how to communicate what they're actually feeling. Like, maybe at the core they want me to feel good and they want me to feel healthy, but they don't know how to explain that in like a non-violent communication way, and they're just like quite savage. So my default is to think about all of those things and not really be affected by it. But if I have a million other things on my plate and I'm just having a hard day, and if I see like so many thumbs up to a really hard comment, then that mind fucks me completely. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why are so many other people agreeing with this really savage comment? And that's when I like second guess myself for a second. And I'm like, wait, am I really that way? Or like, why am I being perceived that way by so many people if that's totally not who I am? Or is this my motivation behind doing something? And it just like really messes with me for a minute or an hour or a day. And then I'll talk to somebody who actually knows me and I'll be like, hey, do you perceive me this way? And they're like, no, it's like, it's just assumption based from people who don't know you. This is not how you are. This is not what you do. And I'm like reassured by people who know me. And I'm grateful for that because it's helpful to have that reassurance in times like that.
Yeah, thank you for that honesty. I think that is something that a lot of big YouTubers wouldn't share even if they were feeling that way. And I think that the majority of them do. Maybe some of them are total robots where they can just like take some gnarly comments that have 6,000 likes that is calling you the C word, you know, and they could just move on. But that's
honestly, I've talked to so many people who have larger channels than I do, and everyone is just like mindfucked by it. Like, they're really messed up, not in a good mental health place. And not to like whatever to have this come off a certain way, but like I think that I handle it better and healthier than the majority of people that I've talked to on the platform. And that makes me really sad because it gets to me sometimes. And to think that it's getting to so many other people on the platform so much more than me is like really, really sad, because the majority of the people are just trying to put out a positive message and like bring people up. And it sucks that that's part of it, but it is. And I know there's a lot to learn from it. Like, I've grown so much and become so much stronger and like have a backbone now, and I didn't used to. So I just try to see the benefits in it. And yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add in a little tidbit to this, just as somebody who's known you for 3 years in real life, not through internet, just for the people watching. And I'm sure that people will say that I'm lying or this is not a genuine statement, but since the day that I met Alyse, like, there's been no time where she's ever enjoyed even 1% engaging in shit talking other people, even if they totally deserve it. And I'm not somebody who loves gossip or shit talking people, but I have no problem if I feel like they deserve it to say what needs to be said about it. I like to clear my chest about it. And but Alyse, legit, I mean, you almost like actively avoid those conversations. So for me to have seen the amount of hate that you got for that was just on a humanitarian level. I didn't enjoy seeing that because they don't even, they're saying such nasty things to somebody who would just never say that to them. You know what I mean? Like you said, you're probably one of the people who shows the most compassion to people who don't deserve it. You put yourself in the shoes of people who don't deserve your time, that don't deserve you to treat them fairly or nicely in the moment when they're being total jerks to you. So I want to just point that out to people that this is a real person on the other end of this thing. So anyway, Star Brady says, Alyse, you are so lovely. Thank you, Star Brady.
Oh, well, yeah, the way that I see it, honestly, is not that those people don't deserve my kindness and compassion and understanding, but I see it as those.
You don't see it that way. I see it that way.
Yeah, I see it as those are the people who like need it the most. Like, fuck, they're like suffering so bad that they're being so mean to somebody that they don't know. And I'm like, I hope that your life gets better.
We
Genuinely.
we'll agree to have two different approaches to those people.
Yes.
The DrewMorg channel does not does not shine favorably on a-holes. Okay. This is a question that's popping up, or that has come up since we're
I
talking.
haven't looked in the chat at all. Should I do that or no?
No, it's going to be very distracting for now.
Okay.
So what do you think is
I'm nervous.
what don't people know about being a big YouTuber? We kind of touched on you being a real person, you reading the comments, you being thrown off for a day sometimes when people say something really nasty and 500 people like that comment, and then there's like a 600 comment thread about it, about how you purchased your dog from a pet shop down the street in Tijuana and you support animal breeding. So what do you think is a hard part about being a big YouTuber that people don't know about?
What is the hard part? I don't know. Maybe I'll speak to like the hard part about an online presence as a whole.
Sure.
Because something I've been thinking about recently is like, damn, YouTube in itself can be a full-time job. Instagram in itself can be a full-time job. And then like I have this mentorship program, and then I'm like, I have multiple employees and team members and like relationships and a dog and myself. And I think balancing all of it and just trying to I think maybe I'll speak to how I can't appeal everybody. And
Yeah. And you would like to, probably.
What?
Like I think your natural state is to attempt to do that.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be lovely to do that, but I can't because I can't. I mean, I shouldn't say I can't, but it is not easy to put out the amount of videos that I want about the exact topics that the general community is wanting and needing at that point in time. And I try to really feel into that and tune into that and look at the analytics, but not get too much into it, but also like try to give people what they're in need of and also try to just share my journey. And it's like so much that I feel like maybe it looks really fun and like graceful from the outside, but there's so much that goes into it. It's like a full-time job. And this is probably a thing that a lot of people don't know / don't know how it feels is like for the last 5 or 6 years have no idea like what it's like to basically be unplugged from work. When you have like a standard job where you're going to work for somebody else, you can stop working at like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. You have the weekends off, you have vacation time. I don't have that ever. So I'm constantly in a state of work mode unless I like really force myself and plan something and schedule it. And even then, like work is normally included in it. So that's a thing. Although it's like so fun and so fulfilling, it's like there's no differentiation. Is that a word?
Yeah. Like we went to a party last Sunday, and even though it was a Memorial Day barbecue, it was still like a party of all entrepreneurial spirits in the area, and it was like a networking event as much as it was like it wasn't a place where you just go and kick your feet up and like get drunk in the jacuzzi with everybody. It was like everybody was like chatting and mingling, and it's good. It's like it's good to make your personal life sort of built in with your work, and you have to find that balance if you're going to do what you do.
Yeah, and I would say it feels very aligned in so many ways because of what you just said. Like having it all intertwined, it feels like I am one person. I have one identity. I'm not living like a work character trait, whatever. And then like being a different person behind the scenes, I'm the same across the board, and that feels really healthy. But yeah, there's just so much that goes into it.
I wanted to ask, what videos have you deleted off your channel? Because you did get criticism for that back in the day, and that's something that you more recently did. It's something you didn't want to do right off the bat, but you announced that you were going to do that, or that you did do that.
Yeah, so pretty much right after I came out with my I'm no longer vegan video, it was like all of a sudden everyone's like, stop profiting from like your old videos, delete all of them. Like you don't even agree with that anymore. Like you shouldn't put it out there. And it's like, first of all, so interesting because so many people saying that were vegan themselves, and like, wouldn't they want my vegan message videos that were going out to like 300,000 people to still be up there? I don't know.
Mm.
It's just a very peculiar thing. And also, like, the amount of money I'm making from those videos is probably like $1 a month from like old recipe videos or whatever. I don't know how many I deleted or made private, but I want to infer maybe like 30 to 50 or something. And they were pretty much just, I just started from the very beginning and went through all of them and watched through them and like skipped through them and just decided if I still resonated with it. But the majority of the ones that I made private were what I eat in a day, recipe videos, like how to be raw vegan in the winter, like just little things like that, that I'm like, this doesn't necessarily have to be out there anymore. I left a few of them, just like my personal favorites, because my main reason for not getting rid of everything immediately as people were saying it was like, this is part of my journey. I don't want to just like wipe this whole thing clean and start fresh. That's not what I was feeling. But then as I started to look through them a few weeks later, I was like, oh, actually, I don't want all of this up, but I'll leave some of it. So yeah.
Being that it was part of your journey, is there anything that you still believe in that you said as far as dietary things back in the day, like when you're a raw vegan particularly? Is there anything that you take from that that you still think is the way to go or can help people in any way? Or is there just like an absolute loss if you go that direction?
I don't think it's an absolute loss. I just claim to not know anything in that realm right now. I'm just like, I don't know. I just never would have thought that I would be eating mainly carnivore, like at the point that I was eating mainly raw, like freaking coconuts, papayas, and mangoes. I just never would have thought that I would feel better that way. So I don't want to claim to know anything at this point. Maybe I'll feel differently in the near future, but I don't know. I would say fresh food and local food is the way to go, but that's kind of where I'll leave it.
Well, I want to reopen it immediately, even though you want to leave it.
Okay, thank you. Say it again.
Even though you want to leave it, I want to reopen it immediately and talk about your favorite non-vegan dish, because somebody did ask that earlier.
My favorite what?
Non-vegan dish.
Dish. Well,
food, type of food, restaurant.
I mean, I'm eating pretty simply, like very basic things. I don't know. I feel like it's changed. At first, it was definitely salmon. Like my body was just kind of craving it every single day. Yeah, I wouldn't say I have a favorite dish because I really don't make elaborate meals at all. It's like 2 or 3 foods put together. I'm really enjoying bacon right now. So.
You're back on the bacon.
Yeah.
So let's get this out here, guys. Alyse is bacon obsessed. She has been since day one. It's a huge secret. But it's reality. Can you confirm this?
Yes. I wouldn't say it's a secret.
Okay.
Because then, frick,
but
there's gonna be videos made that I just let out the secret, and it's not a secret.
Well, let's say that I think most people would be shocked because like you want it to be respectful to your viewers, or you still want to be respectful to your viewers,
right?
And you have showed a little bit of cooking of your food, which was obviously a big part of your channel. I know that you've disagreed on this in the past. It wasn't a big part of your channel, but people did know you for being vegan and particularly raw vegan at some point in time. And then they were kind of like still tagging along the journey as it progressed. Now, recently you have shown a little bit of food in your videos. Like you cooked some eggs and you've made some, and thrown a little salmon in there, but you've sort of like kept it PG. Like you didn't want to show just your full-on meals, and
right.
I'd like to share what you really eat to people.
Oh, yeah. Well, I definitely, I mean, it's been a couple of months now that my vegan, no longer vegan video came out, so I'm totally cool with like easing into it now. But yeah, I didn't want to share anything intense that was gonna like really further like make people. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I wanted to just be respectful and not share like raw meat, me grilling, like 1 week after.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, for the past, I think it's been 5 months now, I've been eating mostly meat, fish, and eggs. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and talking with doctors and people who have been eating mostly carnivore and keto and all of that for years now. And so I'm just trying to learn new things and try new things. And so I've tried like beef liver, I've tried beef trimmings, like straight beef fat, and that was actually something that kind of made me feel like I had permission or justification to eat more bacon, was knowing that the fat is actually beneficial. And I've heard that in various different places from reputable sources. But yeah, I wasn't eating bacon for a while because I was like, I haven't like heard anywhere that this is actually doing anything specific and beneficial for me. And that's like my main thing, is I don't really want to consume things on a regular basis if there is not a direct correlation to part of me that it's benefiting.
Yeah, I guess the way that I wanted to present the information was like, you received a lot of criticism, especially in the video that we did together. In the comments, there was like, she underate, she was barely eating enough food. Like, look at her. And what people don't understand.
Okay, let's just look at this from a very logical perspective.
Let's get it out.
Yeah, there was literally one person who watched my what I eat in a day video, or it was like a vlog, and I shared some of the food that I ate, and it was 2 of the 3 meals I ate, or maybe it was 1 of the 2 meals I ate, and they made a full video saying it was like 600 or 700 calories. I didn't share the last meal that I ate because I wanted to like keep it real chill. It wasn't like a what I eat video, but their video is just like illustrating how I have an eating disorder and how I'm like purposefully not eating enough. Would I look the way that I look if I was eating 600 or 700 calories a day consistently? Like that just, it doesn't make sense. Clearly I am well fed. I'm gaining muscle. I'm not like a stick who's withering away. So
they said this after you went carnivore, or after you went off veganism, or this was back on the vegan?
No, this was the first like vlog that I came out with after my no longer vegan video. So it was like I ate like salmon and eggs and spinach or something.
They thought that's all you ate all day.
Yeah, they thought that's what I ate all day. But it wasn't a what I eat in a day video. It was just like, here's a glimpse, you know, here's like me eating.
And this is a good example of how far people will take things and completely misconstrue it. And then 300 people see that comment at the top because that's the way that YouTube distributes comments. And then all of a sudden people have this idea, Alyse undereats on carnivore. She wanted to do it to lose weight. Like, no, the opposite.
I literally eat so much food.
That's what I want to say. Alyse eats a lot of food. And believe me, when she was in Colorado and she was bored out of her mind in the snow there, which, you know, that's how it is in Colorado. There's nothing to do. She was she was sending me pictures of like her dinner, and it's like a whole hunk of ground beef with a hunk of chopped up fat on the side, and that's it. And like maybe some bacon or like a tiny bit of spinach on the side. Alyse is literally eating almost as much as I ate, at least for a while.
I honestly think that I eat as much as you eat. Yeah.
Sometimes. It's pretty crazy, actually. Like, you would be actually genuinely surprised how much she eats. So you're not undereating, definitely not undereating, and that's just all I wanted to point out. So if you have anything else to add to that, I'm happy to hear it.
I guess the only thing I'll add to that is that I am going to share a new updated what I eat, like the first literal full day of what I eat, probably in the next couple of weeks. I'll probably film it next week. So then everyone and their mother can criticize that because it'll be like a full what I eat. So
great. We're welcoming the 80% dislike ratio.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll manifest a 60% at least. Don't worry.
Under 50%.
Nico Cotto Avocado, welcome to the chat, my friend. Okay, so, you know, where should we go here? I have a couple questions. How long did you feel good on Raw, and would you go back, but like what would... Yeah, we might be able to just ditch that question. I actually don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's so outdated.
It's so outdated. What long-term things have you noticed, though, that are the positive, especially recently? And I want to also get into some of the things that you're struggling with, too, as soon as we start cresting this question.
Gosh, we're just like diving into everything I filmed in my life update. But it's okay. Not everyone who watches that will watch this. And those who do watch this will get like the full explanation. So
exactly.
okay. Let's see. The benefits. So up until like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, my brain was just feeling like it was getting better and better. I was able to articulate myself better, just like very clear mind, very creatively connected, just like like I was almost back to what I would consider like my brain before everything kind of hit the fan. I don't know what that saying is. Clearly, I don't have my brain today, but I would say my brain was doing better. My digestion since transitioning to mostly carnivore is unreal. And whenever I kind of veer away from that, like yesterday, I had some crackers and some guacamole. And anytime I have something that's not really carnivore, and the more of it that I have, the worse that my digestion is, just like more bloating, gas, like not optimal stools. And so there's that. I actually have a sex drive now, which is pretty fun. I would say those are like the three main things. And I might be forgetting a lot of things, but the brain, digestion, sex drive.
Can you elaborate more on the sex drive for people who don't understand, that may be struggling in the vegan diet, perhaps, that are turned off right now?
Okay, so
what's the difference for you?
So I just never was turned on. No, I shouldn't say never, but it took a lot for me to be turned on when I was vegan. And even prior to that, I don't know how to put it into words, but I just didn't have that drive at all. It was just like I was almost, how do I explain it? I think I was talking to Bobby about this, and he said something like, I felt like I was a child again, like eating cereal, watching movies, like just had no desire to connect with anyone in that way. I didn't feel that sexual energy. And I guess that's what it felt like for me. I kind of felt like an alien, like something was wrong with me. Like, why don't I have this? Why do I just really not want that sort of connection at all? Like very platonic, just like totally content. But it didn't feel good. Like I feel more alive now. I feel more connected. I feel like there's just this part of me that I have that was missing before.
Very well. Well, so those are some long-term changes that we have seen in this. Now, you talked about your brain a little bit. Can we talk about more about that? Can we talk more about your struggles that you're dealing with that are rather consistent?
Yeah, so pretty much the last 2 or 3 weeks, I was thinking back today, I was like, I actually was kind of dealing with this ever since my most recent trip to Hawaii was kind of when my brain shut down again. And wait, what? I just saw something funny in my house. Yeah, I basically just have headaches every single day. And I've been kind of trying to figure out, is it food related? Is it environment related? Like, what's the deal here? But I'm also trying not to think too far into it and make it more of a thing than it is. Like, I don't want to just immerse myself in solving this problem type of thing every day. But it's not fun to have backtracked because I felt like I was almost healed or like at least making insane progress and just didn't really expect to experience a decline in that way again. So I'm trying to just learn as much as I can about the brain and what I can do for it and try all the remedies and all the things. And I trust that I'll get back to a better working brain soon. But I have had a few questions because I've talked about it a bit on Instagram. Some people have asked, like, do you think it's related to your diet now? And I don't really think it is, but I'm open to it being the case. Like pretty much any way that I need to eat, anything that I need to do to be able to function optimally, I'm down to do it. But yeah, that's my recent thing. So I feel like I've backtracked a lot.
Yeah, I feel like what's most key for anybody who's sort of like wearing the carnivore flag or who's an ex-vegan especially is being extremely transparent about anything that pops up, whether it's good or bad in their diet, because I feel like this is something that I don't want to be this like a carnivore versus vegan thing right now, but like vegans, I think tend to subdue or not share any of the negatives that are going on with their diet. They only talk about the positives. And over time, those positives actually dwindle down. So you just kind of see them fade out. They don't share anything at some point because the positives are gone, and then they don't share about the negatives. Whereas I feel like like people who are ex-vegan that jump on this carnivore thing, they're being heavily scrutinized for everything that they put in their mouth. So they're like, okay, like I'm having this issue, and just being as transparent as possible. So we're seeing the opposite thing. And like specifically for you, I mean, you've had a lot of headaches the past few weeks. We thought it was related to sugar because like you would have 2 sips of sugar and then all of a sudden the headaches would come back, but now they're more on a constant basis.
Yeah. So I think that sugar is, I mean, I don't have gluten or wheat at all anymore. I'd say that one's probably a bigger sensitivity than sugar, but sugar is for sure something I'm still very sensitive to. And that's what it was for the beginning, I suppose. When I was having any little amount of sugar, my headache would come to be. And now I notice that obviously there's a trend with that, so I'm staying away from it. But yeah, it's more constant. So we'll see. I'll keep everybody updated on the journey, and I've gotten a lot of suggestions on what I can do to kind of deal with the headaches, which is helpful. But obviously, I'm really interested in why the heck they're happening in the first place and figuring that out as opposed to just coping with it. So, yeah.
Do you think that you became like increasingly intolerant to certain foods over time? Is there something that you notice, especially while you were vegan, that you no longer could eat towards the end? Because we've seen this happen with some of our personal friends where like they can't eat bananas anymore or whatever the case is. And somebody actually wanted me to ask this in the chat before we started. So
yeah, that's a good question. For me, I would honestly just say like sugar and carbs, which is a lot of food. I'm very sensitive to sugar, processed sugar, even natural sugar. I do have berries pretty much every day, but no fruits that are like very high on the glycemic index or very sugary, like no dried fruit. And then, yeah, I noticed that I'm definitely sensitive to carbs as a whole. So I do think that I don't know if it's like a sensitivity or if it's like the candida thing that's still happening or what the deal is, but I am determined to get to the bottom of it. And it may take a few months or a few years, but I'm excited to like hop back on here when I do figure it out and be able to share that. But right now I can't really speak for anything other than my personal experience.
what's your best advice for dealing with the pain that you do experience, like any of the headaches or physical pain and even emotional pain, people being annoying to you? What's your best techniques that you employ on a daily basis that help you get through all this stuff and show up in a good way? Because a lot of people have given you praise for dealing with all this crap lately. So let's just combine that all together. You got the physical pain, you've got the emotional pain. What helps you essentially get control of that?
I would say the most simple answer to that, what I do is literally just keep going. I feel like I can't stop and let it win and like give it more power than it already has. So yeah, I feel like that's easier for me to do with all the emotional stuff and all of those comments, like just keep going onward. Don't pay attention to it too much. Take it for what it is. Obviously try to improve if there's constructive criticism, but really just keep going and keep focused. With the physical, it's a bit harder because it's my brain and it's really hard to just like carry on with life. But the alternative is not carrying on and just like being bedridden or just like closing myself in a dark room and like not doing the things that fulfill me and not making an impact and not experiencing life. And I don't know how long these headaches are going to last, but that is the way I'm getting through it right now. I mean, there's a few like remedy things I'm attempting on like a pretty regular basis that are kind of helping, kind of not. But I'd say as a whole, just like continuing onward because the alternative isn't as good.
You did mention that your digestion is very good. So yeah. I think a lot of people are coming from a situation where their digestion is not good. And that's, of course, a foundational thing. So yeah, you kind of got like the gut and the brain. We know that they're linked, but you need both of them to be functioning well to be like focused throughout the day and be your most productive self. That's the foundation, I think, to everything. At least your digestion is good. What other improvements have you seen? Obviously, you still have these headaches and stuff like that, which sucks, and maybe diet related, it may not be. But somebody did specifically ask like how your muscle mass is doing when you were bodybuilding as a raw vegan versus now. Are you noticing any differences there? Body composition, things like that.
When I was lifting and eating raw, I felt like I just couldn't make progress, and I was trying to do the whole like just eat a surplus, just like have more protein powder. But I wasn't really making progress. I was kind of maintaining, but I had a very like soft look to myself. And then when I was vegan, it was also very hard to gain. I felt like I was putting in so much work, so consistent, lifting heavy, like proper form, isolating the muscles, all of that, and like getting adequate rest and doing all the things in my power. But it was still like the odds were working against me. And now, like over the past 5+ months of my diet change, I've been less consistent, and I feel like my body is maintaining muscle mass way easier. Like it's effortless, and I feel like my body has changed a lot. I wish I took more photos of myself like on a daily or regular basis, so that I could like have something to share. I'm sure if I dig it up enough, I could. But yeah, I would say it's more effortless now, whereas before it was like the complete opposite. I was putting in all the work and it wasn't happening.
Yeah, as far as the way that you look, is there any physical things that you've noticed, like hair, nails? I don't know. We talk a lot on this channel about vegan deterioration, and her channel that she has up, and you know, they talk about like the sunken cheeks and the sunken eyes and stuff like that. Is there anything that you've noticed that's changed physically in your face or your body that you're noticing?
Yeah, so I have always had pretty healthy hair and nails. I wish I could give advice on that to all the ladies. Well, I guess there's a few things I could say. Don't do anything to your hair. Don't use heat on your hair. Don't blow dry it. Don't straighten it. Don't do any of the things. Just like let your hair be. I found that helps. But for me, the changes that I've noticed have mostly been, well, like I said, body composition. I feel like I'm maintaining muscle better, but my face, I have noticed that my face is more full now. And it's interesting. Like before, I feel like when my face would be full, that would be when my body also gained weight. But now it's like my face is full, and I attribute that to looking and being more healthy, whereas my body is like maintaining its thing. Like I'm not gaining weight, but my face is more full, less sunken in. My eyes were definitely sunken in towards the end. And oh my gosh, I was watching one of my old videos yesterday, and I'm like really, really, we should bring it up actually, if you can do that. It's my thoughts on non-vegans. And
Okay.
my face is just like so small and thin and like skeletony. And now I feel like my
Is
jaw
it from
is more
about a year ago?
defined. Yeah.
Are you in? You look like you're in
Perfect.
Hawaii. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay. Yes. This is going to be very interesting for people to see.
Yeah. My face is
Guys.
like, I feel like my jaw is more defined now. My jaw,
Oh
and
my.
then wait, I
Okay, so
can't see
I
it.
have told you this, that your face looks more full to me, and it's just becoming more rounded and more soft and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A
But
bit
it's
more
so weird
like
for me to see, because to me in the past that has always meant that like my body had gained weight, and that's why
mhm.
my face was bigger. And now it's like I have a full face, but my body is like more lean than it was before.
Are you guys ready for this? This is
I'm
nuts.
nervous. Yeah.
What the heck?
How's it going, YouTube? It's Alyse, and today I'm going to share my answers to your questions. I have some questions typed out from a while ago, so hopefully people are still curious about my thoughts on these. And I'm just feeling kind of like funky and wanting to talk to you, so here we go. Oh, by
I'm
the way, I think
stunned
these are
right
like
now.
pretty good questions. Like
I'm
these are
fucking
like
stunned right
on
now.
the deeper side, not just like what's your zodiac sign type of thing. So get prepped. Okay, so first question is, As you got rid of items and transitioned to minimalism, is there
Holy
anything
shit.
you really, really regretted getting rid of?
It's
Something
crazy
that you
because
wish
I've
you
noticed, it's hard to tell when people are, like, you see them all the time. And so like I'm noticing it, but it's at a much slower pace and not as significant as I feel like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then you compare it to this and it's a
Yeah.
totally different scenario.
Yeah.
I wonder why we went
Yeah. I was
blurry now.
very like, this was when I had like no appetite from all the mold stuff. I was basically eating like not much and was like obviously struggling with my health at this point, and it's just so evident. But like at that point, I don't know if you and I have talked about this before, but you know how I talk about this all the time, how like when you start to look that way, you start to think that that looks more attractive.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I was like very happy with how I looked, which is good. Like we should be happy with how we look, but like I wasn't recognizing that I looked really sick. I was just like, I'm lean, like my jaw is so defined. But like now looking back, I'm like, damn, I was really sick there.
Yeah. And there was, so people were asking how old this video is. This is from December 2017. And
That was like
you look
when
like
it
a
first
child.
started to get really bad.
Even like your arms, your shoulders are very skinny, and not just like they're like probably the same size. If you were to measure your bicep right now, it's probably not that much different, but it's just like it's a bit more bony looking, I guess.
Yeah, I was pretty small there.
And even it's hard to tell with the hair because it looks like you have way more hair now, even though you probably don't recall having less hair then. But
Yeah, I don't know about the hair, but I mean, honestly, my hair's just been getting thicker and thicker since I took my dreads out, and that was like a year before now. So I wouldn't necessarily like, I never attributed any hair loss or anything with my hair to eating vegan.
yeah, I was going to blow your camera up in the middle here so that we could see. Here we go.
Oh God, I'm on the hot seat. Yep. So.
Wow. Anyway, it's quite crazy. Put you back in the corner there. Get back in there. Okay. Well, that is very impressive. That is very shocking as well. So yeah, any other videos you want to pull up, I can do that. That honestly, it really is shocking to me. And I remember there's a period of time too, and we've talked about this before, where you were attempting to do like vegan keto, and that was probably like the absolute worst. And I always talk about that being like the dagger that completely stops vegans, because once you're at the point where you're so miserable that you need to go vegan keto, like you're completely out of options.
I mean, I was vegan keto for like the last year and a half. That's a long time. I mean, and I shouldn't say keto, just high fat. Because I don't know if I was in ketosis or like how often, but yeah, high fat vegan for the last year and a half, like really, really minimal fruit. I remember like I didn't use my blender for like months. And yeah, I just barely was eating carbohydrates aside for like some vegetables and stuff. And the thing is like it made me feel better because I had developed those sensitivities or the whatever the heck to all the carbs and the fruit. But yeah, not sustainable. Clearly, I was losing weight and withering away.
What are you struggling with now on your diet? Like, what don't you like about it? What's difficult with, there's got to be some negatives that you're currently finding. You can't just be eating all this meat and all this bacon and all this fat and just completely loving it. You can't be eating all this poke and really loving your life. It's impossible.
Well, I'm not loving my life right now because of these damn headaches. But before these past weeks, I was pretty content. But I would say that I was trying to figure out like what that special amount of carbohydrates was like, because after, I don't know, maybe a week or 2 weeks straight of like really just eating meat, fish, eggs, like nothing else, my body, I would start not being hungry for those foods, and I would start to want carbohydrates. So I was trying to kind of figure out and dial in how often, how much, what types of things. And I was trying to just figure that out. But aside from that, all was well for like months on end.
Are you planning to make any immediate changes to your diet right now? Have you decided on what exactly you're going to do moving forward for this situation? Like, what do you think is the best route to cure what you have going on now?
Trying a variety of different things, but I'm trying to keep my diet pretty much the same, like 90% carnivore, and then having other things just to, I don't know. I don't feel like going 100% right now. Um, But yeah, the things that I'm diving into, I'm going into a hyperbaric chamber today. I'm going to get some energy work done next week. I'm going to go to some chiropractor next week. There's some pretty dope people, thankfully, in this area. I feel really grateful for that. Boulder was a good area for like the natural remedies, and so is the San Diego area. And so I'm going to dive into that. I've been taking magnesium. I've been trying salt water for electrolytes. I've been trying to get adequate sleep. I've been taking CBD. I dabbled with Advil, which I didn't really want to do, but honestly, it's just really getting in the way of my life, but that didn't really work. So, and recently, which I have yet to share on the interweb, I started smoking weed again to help with the pain management, which has helped more than anything else. So, it's not something I wanted to do, but like I said, I'm just trying to push onward and like carry on with life and not stop my life for this temporary season of headaches. So that's a thing.
How important do you think sleep is to the whole picture of
Oh,
health and whatnot?
sleep is like probably more important than diet.
I would say I would agree with you. Yeah. And you don't need to do anything, and it's free. You just need to find the time. So, what's your advice to somebody who's very busy, who feels like there's not enough hours in the day, and they can barely find enough time to get down 4 or 5 hours of sleep? Tell them
Ooh,
how that goes.
that's painful. That's not correct. And the thing is that every aspect of life gets so much easier when you have your sleep fulfilled. So I would say prioritize that above everything. And like, it will seem like you have more time when you are awake because you're going to be well rested and able to like show up more as yourself, as a better version of yourself. When you're tired, like everything takes longer, everything is harder, your brain's not there, your body's exhausted. So you need sleep. It's like the foundation for sure.
Yeah, I agree. To me, that's something that I've always made sure to get, and I've always felt like I was pretty sharp-minded until the end. Until the last years of veganism, and I am thankful that carnivore has kind of given me my brain back a little bit, or at least going back to animal foods. And I don't attribute to anything particular like B12 or omega-3 specifically, but things just tended to work better. And honestly, I find it more from an energy flow standpoint than I do from I was missing something like a deficiency standpoint.
What do
I
you
like
mean by that?
My flow of energy is just better and more abundant on a animal food based diet. So like right now it's 11 a.m. in the morning, and as a vegan, I'm already like planning lunch and dinner, and I'm like thinking about what I'm going to eat next, how I'm going to get that meal. I spend a significantly less portion of the day even thinking about food now, eating the
Yeah.
food now, digesting the food now,
Mhm.
and also the food sustains me for a much longer period of time.
Yeah.
So like right now I'm not thinking about food. I feel very sharp and clear-minded. Like this, I'm not a genius, but this is as good as it's going to get for me. And as a vegan, I'm like, I wasn't functioning the same way. I was always thinking about that next meal and sort of timing my blood sugar with peak activity and then letting that trail off and then getting tired and sleepy, always kind of like snacking on something sugary, like eating chocolate at the end of the night. I mean, I do that now, but I try and time it with my meals. I do an intermittent fasting. Maybe that'll take us into our next thing. Are you employing any type of fasting, or what's your take on this?
I can't give away all the things on your channel before mine.
Yes, you can. My channel
Um,
is extremely widely dispersed and respected in the community. This is where you
okay.
share things.
Well, yeah, I mean, I pretty much intermittent fast, but I'm not like a stickler about it. I just eat when I'm hungry, and I don't really often eat when I'm not hungry.
Mm.
So, and I go to bed really early and I get a lot of good sleep. And so I don't know what my like window is, but I would say generally I'm fasting, or intermittent fasting. Maybe my first meal is at like, lately it's been pretty late actually. My windows have been weird lately, but I would say typically I'm eating around like 11 or noon or 1 even, and then my next meal will be at like 5 or 6 or 7. So, but
How's your
I'm not like opposed to having things outside of those windows. Like I'll have coffee at like 6 or 7 a.m. And that has like butter and collagen and oil in it. And I'm not opposed to having like chocolate or berries after my last meal time.
I forgot about your early morning calories. Have you considered actually ditching that and potentially going to
Never.
more intermittent fasting window, which may let you may heal the headaches immediately?
I'm very perplexed right now.
Why is that?
And because anything that might help the headaches, I'm 100% down to try. But
Well, yeah, anything I want to suggest now, I'm just going to say that it will help the headaches and it's going to work.
that is manipulation.
Yes, I am a manipulator.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not considered that my love really
No, you can
causes a
still have the
problem.
coffee. You just can't put the butter in it because it's sparking metabolism,
Can I
which
have
is taking
collagen?
you just do that all, but later in the day. Like you can still have that, but just do it in the window so that you have a proper intermittent fasting window, which will hopefully allow your body to do like more healing and more.
Yeah.
You're not going to get into autophagy, but you're going to at least have a deeper cleansing effect in your intermittent fasting window.
Mm.
JG Lee, thank you for the donation. Alyse looks like she can kick butts now. Congrats. Oh my God, look at that underarm, that pec. Ooh, the connection there from the pec.
My like lats are
Wow.
pretty.
Yeah, let's get a bodybuilding show right now. What do we got?
All right. Like my
Wow.
lat
Okay,
spread
first of
is.
all, huge improvement in the armpit area. There's no hair there.
Hey.
Second,
Watch it, bud.
I didn't have you shave them. You did that on your own. The chops are looking pretty thick.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this lighting or something's not doing me justice. But yeah, I think that I'm growing my lower body more than my upper body right now.
Really? Specifically,
So
any parts of your lower body that are growing large and out of control that
my butt is just out of control.
Wow, it's getting thick, huh? What are you doing for that? Squats, curtsy squats?
Yeah, my typical right now is squats. I've done some deadlifts, but kind of laid off lately. Reverse lunges, Romanian deadlifts. It's very simple, but like it's working efficiently.
Do you feel, because you told me before, I made an offensive comment regarding growing butts, and you thought maybe I put too much emphasis on women having large butts, but now
Yes.
you seem to be, is that an appropriate aesthetic goal to grow the cheeks?
I
Or
would
is it
say
shallow and
I would
no
say
good?
that I want my body to look proportionate.
Mm.
So I feel like my upper body has always looked more toned and muscular, and like I gain muscle, I think, on my upper half easier. So for me, I'm just putting more effort on the lower body because it's not as efficient as my
Hmm.
upper body. So I'm just trying to create the balance so it's not like, oh, you look like pretty jacked and strong and whatever on your upper body, but your lower body's just like flat. So I want to have the balanced look.
Got it. Megan Elizabeth chimed in. Welcome to the chat, Megan. She said, Alyse, Katie's partner Rob was having headaches for a month or more, and they got worse when he got to Hawaii. He got a CT scan on his head and found out he had a serious sinus infection. So that's interesting.
Wait, who is this?
Rob, Katie's husband, Katie Crane's
Oh,
man.
yeah.
So somebody
Well,
was
that's
saying,
interesting because I don't have any sinus anything right now, and I feel like if I did, I would know.
well, I guess it is technically pollen season still right now. So people are actually commenting on that a little bit in the chat. They're saying that when they lived in SoCal, they got headaches in the spring. It's pollen season, but
well, the thing is I had
Rob
it
did
in
not have sinus
Colorado for
symptoms.
like 2 or 3 weeks, and it all started again like when I went back to Hawaii for that like 2-week trip. So I don't know. I'm definitely gonna get some tests done if it persists for another like week or 2 weeks, because it's just getting a bit ridiculous. So, but yeah, I appreciate everyone's perspective, and we'll figure it out soon.
Yeah, people said, Megan said that Rob did not have any sinus symptoms whatsoever. So that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
People say that if girls want to be hot, they have to be thin with a big butt. Okay.
I think everyone has different.
Yeah,
ideas of hot.
Exactly. What's the difference between armpit hair on women and men, Drew? Kind of short-sighted there, bud. I won't respond to that.
You said that you enjoyed my hair.
Body hair?
Well, you said that you got used to it.
I said I didn't notice it. I never noticed it. I never noticed Alyse's armpit hair, but it is hands down the one thing that everybody focuses on that does not know you. So if anybody that I've ever met has seen your videos, they're like, does she really not shave her armpits? Like, what is going on with the armpit situation? And I just like, yeah, actually, I don't notice it. I mean, I'm shocked that I didn't notice it. I'm shocked that it didn't bother me.
Because it doesn't fucking matter, you know?
But it didn't. I genuinely didn't notice. It would be like leg hair, you're definitely going to notice, and that's not going to be cool. I am not down with leg hair. Like, that is actually gross, and it could easily make me completely disgusted by somebody. If they were just like, no, I'm growing long leg hair, it's like, cool, we're done.
I don't know. I think that with the whole armpit hair thing and my videos and even people I meet in person, we've talked about this. Like, I like to have some sort of filter. It's like, you can't be okay with this like weird thing about me, then I'm not interested in corresponding with you.
Right. Exactly. And honestly, it is a weird thing, but I never really noticed it. So I'm not going to make a deal about something that I don't notice, you know? I don't care if other people have a problem with it. Actually, Really Organic says flying in planes can cause headaches too. So I'm kind of like reading from the chat a little bit. Alyse, my brother was getting horrible headaches every day, and then he started taking a pituitary gland support supplement, and it fixed the problem right away. I hope this helps. Pituitary gland, interesting.
I hear so many stories like that, and it's like, this person had a headache, they did this one thing and like totally gone, and I'm like, I'm trying to try all the things, but there's this long list of all the things to try, and I don't want to like double up. I want to try them each individually and like give it a fair shot.
I know that's the one thing. I think we should put that into perspective for people, because they all feel like, oh, why didn't you do that? Why didn't you try Goji Man's solution? It's like, yeah, but I had several other people's solutions that were equally as attractive, and that allegedly worked for people. So like, just because that thing worked for you doesn't mean it's going to automatically go to your top priority list. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you have your own list of things based on your own research that are hopefully going to help you. You're not trying to take the slowest route. You're trying to take the fastest route there.
100% the fastest route. But yeah, I do appreciate all the ideas, and I'm taking note of them. So I have about 10 more minutes. So what shall we talk about?
We can take to the chat, and we can see what's going on here. Grace Williams says, Alyse, the other day on your Insta story, you made me feel like my chronic illness isn't valid. You said that lots of chronic illnesses are all in the head and can be cured.
What?
What do you have to say to that?
I feel like I did not say that at all, but I'm definitely bummed to hear that you felt that I led you to feel like your chronic illness is not valid. That's definitely the opposite of the message that I attempted to share. I think everyone's struggles are 100% valid. I just personally believe that the mind is a very powerful tool that we can either use in our favor or not in our favor. So I'm not sure exactly what story you're referring to, but yeah, I just believe that we can use our mind to think positively and obviously be proactive, but like make peace with our situation and not be too hard on ourselves.
Yeah, I've heard some interesting interpretations of your stories. People have written things to me on my channel. I'll share that with you later.
Interesting.
I'm not going to mention that here.
I've also literally like from those recent stories, I've gotten so many messages from people being like, this is exactly what I needed, exactly what I needed. So, but yeah, I'm curious to hear the other interpretations.
Really Organic says, did Alyse lose her period as a vegan? I lost mine when I went vegan, and it freaked me out.
No, I never did.
Never lost it. Hello, Bobby's Perspective. Hey, favorite ex-vegans?
Hi.
Bless you, Bobby. It's so sad hearing men's opinions about hair. I'm sorry, Amanda. I'm sure when men find out that women prefer tall men with a lot of hair, they're also heartbroken as well.
Right.
As a lot
I
of
feel
them
like
will never be.
it all just goes both ways, and everyone has their own preferences. And obviously, we should be aware of like how much of it is societal conditioning, but also we're living in this physical world, and it makes sense that we're conditioned in certain ways, and we can fight it or we can go with it. But I don't know. I think as long as we're communicative about what our ideals are, it's fine.
Bobby's completely gone off the rails. He says, eat the egg now, guys. It is time to consume animals to get high.
Wow.
I agree. Bobby's broken now. He's gone completely mad.
Bobby's gone mad?
Bobby was on the high of anti-veganism, and then he hit a low point where he wasn't into it anymore. And the vegans were getting to him, and then now, since he's come on my show, he's completely gone bad. He's like back to full worst behavior, just completely hating on the vegans, and I absolutely love it, Bobby. I love it. I hope to see that behavior continue on. Alyse is also in agreement. She's a huge fan of it.
I am holding down the
Positivity.
world of compassion.
Okay, that's beautiful. Really Organic also says, you should do a roundtable with ex-vegans and what they went through with the hate from vegans when they switch. Bobby, Vegetable Police, Alyse, Ravana, and Nico Cado, etc. Okay, we will do that.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think some want to. Bobby says death to all vegans now. Bobby, yes, I agree. Now, Alyse also agrees, but we're all moving in our own directions and taking it, in our own way. Actually, I don't mean that. YouTube, I don't mean that. That's a joke. I do not want this demonetized. If you're watching this, you manual reviewing son of a bitch, I need this to go monetized, all right? Where is Ravana? She disappeared. Do you know anything about Ravana?
Yeah, she's my homie.
Tell us more. Give us some inside juice. We need all the secrets.
Inside juice. She's doing well. Obviously, she went through way tougher shit than I did. But she's working on a rebrand right now, and I think she's just taking a little break for her well-being and for her business, and she's going to come out with a new stuff in the near future.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions for Alyse that you would like me to cover? She has a few more minutes, and she's going to go do some cool stuff. What are you doing after this?
I'm going to sit in a hyperbaric chamber for God knows how long.
Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I've done it once before. Basically, you just lay down in this tube, and the pressure builds and builds, and I don't know, it's supposed to be really helpful for migraines, so I figured I would give that a try. I don't know if it's something where it's like after the first use or the first session you notice relief, or you have to go multiple times. I think it depends on the severity of the condition, but yeah, it's used for a lot of different healing modalities like wound healing and lots of stuff. I was guided to use it like a while ago.
Are you going to be sharing more about that on your Instagram later today? People want to follow along who are in the chat right now who want a quick update, or are you going to keep that secret like you keep everything secret?
I literally keep nothing secret. Yeah, I'll probably share that I'm going. I probably won't bring my phone into the chamber. I'll just lay there.
I think it might break, actually.
What?
I think it might break, actually, if you take it into that chamber.
No, I took it in last time I went, and I did like a live stream, but I don't want to do that this time.
Well, Really Organic actually supports it. That's a change. She actually likes something that myself or my guest presents. Oh boy, zombie mukbang. That's a question that Alyse probably won't want to touch on. Alyse, have you had any crazy online stalkers and creepy shit like Bobby is experiencing? Because Bobby actually just posted about his recent weird person giving him a bunch of DMs.
Yeah, I've had multiple stalkers. That's why I don't know where it is. This side. I'm keeping my blinds closed in my house. Um, yeah, I've had stalker situations. I don't really feel the need to go deep into it, but yeah, it's definitely one of the cons of being so damn transparent. It's kind of made me just have to walk more on eggshells while going through my everyday life outside of my house and even inside of my house while sharing. So it's kind of unfortunate, but there are cons that come with all the pros. So it is what it is.
Yeah, it's a real issue once you become, to a certain point. I think especially being a female, it's like you have a nurturing side to you on your channel. It really makes people feel comfortable. It's a good thing that people feel so comfortable and confident meeting you and stuff like that. But definitely there are some weirdos out there that actually it's really messed up. I mean, they probably need mental help. Honestly, some of the people that show up to do the stalking, they are definitely not all there.
Yeah.
It's not like they're a super fan and they are just like crazy. They're like actually mentally not there. Some of them. I'm glad you put the stalker on the tube. Oh, they're talking about Bobby.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a strange situation. Did you catch any of that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, we don't need to go into it. Alyse, I know you're sick of advice. This is my last one. Oh, okay. Ginger can provide instant relief when you have a bad headache. God bless my friend. That's an easy one to try. I would guess.
Like literally just chew raw ginger.
Yes.
Raw vegan ginger.
Not raw vegan ginger. Don't try raw vegan ginger. That will give you a headache, actually.
That will be the opposite of reducing headache.
We need more white babies. JG, I don't know about that. That sounds racist to me.
Okay,
Let's
one more question because I really have to pee and then I have to get going.
Okay. I'm sifting through. There's a lot going on.
Okay.
She's
also,
not
thank you for having me. This has been fun. I feel like it was a good amount of time too, but we'll have to do another one in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely. You can become a regular guest anytime you want.
This can be where everyone comes who like tunes into my channel but wants like more information.
Yeah, how are we going to address you now? What's the new rebrand all about? What's this about?
I'm Alyse Parker.
She's Alyse Parker now, guys. She's no longer Raw Alignment, like at all. Raw Alignment's dead.
Yeah, I've refrained to say that sentence because I don't know, it feels strange to say like Raw Alignment is dead. Mm-hmm. Technically, it is no longer, but to say Raw Alignment's dead just sounds like so harsh. I'll just say like that season has died down.
Oh, that still has death in it. So somebody said, Alyse, what is your current method of birth control?
That's the last question?
No, that can be the second to last question.
Okay. My current method of birth control is 1, knowing my body, and 2, I use this natural device called the Daisy, which tracks my temperature and my cycle and basically lets me know when I'm fertile, when I'm not fertile.
Alyse, do you have better interactions with people now that you are consuming the animals?
What does that mean?
I mean, I know what it means. I honestly do have better interactions with people. I will say that in Hawaii, I don't think that you're going to get more of a intense interaction with people than being there because there's literally nothing to do. So it kind of depends on your surroundings. But I want to interact with people a lot more now. Like I'm hanging out with old friends more. I'm doing old hobbies. I'm really connecting with myself and my people in my environment now that I'm eating the way that I do. Versus like as a vegan, I was like becoming slowly more and more isolated.
Yeah, I can relate to that in a sense. I would just say I feel more here. I feel more present. I feel more grounded. I feel more stable. I feel more mentally here, minus the freaking headaches. But I would say, I don't know. I look back and I'm like, was I in a dream? Like, was any of that even real? I feel like I've just returned to myself.
Yeah, so, I have the same.
I'm definitely showing up more in social settings and just overall like back.
I feel the same. It's crazy. I mean, I enjoy being myself. I like being myself. It almost like makes you appreciate yourself even more once you return to it and you're like, oh, thank God. Like, this is how I normally feel.
I know.
It's
It's crazy.
inspiring. So in that respect, maybe veganism was good for all of us to give us this little like departure from our normal self, thinking we can defeat the system and become this other person. And it's like, nope, actually, you were always this person and you can feel your best being that person and you can enjoy all of the traits that you were actually born with, all the gifts that you were given, and appreciate them all and work with them all.
For sure. Very inspiring,
and then the train comes.
Drew.
Well, I like to end on a high note, and that train just keeps plugging away outside, so it's just the perfect ending right here.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm going to go into my hyperbaric chamber experience, and I'll be back on your channel in the near future. So thank you, everyone who is tuning in. I hope that everyone has a good day.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for coming on. I'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Bye, Alyse. Okay. That was the Alyse, a.k.a. No Longer Raw Alignment, Alyse Parker. Drew asked her about urine. I don't think that she does urine therapy or knows much about it from what I know about her. So I'm sorry that she couldn't fill you in on the urine therapy. Executionist says, the pull-out method for me, LOL, I don't know about Daisy method because some people ovulate even right after their period, supposedly. Interesting. Pull-out method is shown to be at least 100% effective. I recommend it. T-Tribby, you're out of control. Chamber time. Does Alyse have any criticism or downsides to her current dietary choices? I think we talked about that earlier in the chat. I think you need to rewind there, Wesley. We talked about any downsides that she's experiencing because I said it can't all be perfection, basically. She's having good digestion. She is having headaches, but probably unrelated to the diet. So we just don't know exactly what's going on with her right now. A little scary when you're getting like headaches or like chronic headaches or chronic pain in a certain area of your body that you didn't injure, because you're just wondering that disease or whatever is manifesting is coming from within. And that's always kind of scary. Like, why the hell is this here? What's your biggest tip for someone about to go non-vegan? Biggest tip would be just start listening to your own body. For once, you can finally listen to your own body. It's a biggest relief and learning experience that you're ever going to have. You're going to become so humble through the experience because you're not going to be trying to listen to vegans online and hope that your experience is as good as theirs. You're going to actually find out how your body really works. Go eat a bunch of it. Bathe yourself in cholesterol. And I think you'll be just fine. And just take whatever experience comes with it. Allow whatever feelings or, you can start to trust yourself, it's a very, very nice feeling. Where is a tutorial on listening to your own body? Bumcrack says Alyse has no butt. That's incorrect. Will you talk to Alyse off camera in the new future? Yes, I will talk to her off camera. Execution says, you were supposed to read my message about sodium with food and water not pulling out. No, that's the one that stood out to me. Sorry, that's the one that I was interested in. I didn't see the one about the water and the sodium. I'm sorry. Alyse is doing that, by the way. I don't know if you missed that. My Life in the Sunshine says, start out with a ribeye steak or a New York steak so you can really know the benefits. Yes, I agree with that. I know people are trolling in the chat, guys. Come on. We got Alyse in here. We knew that there's going to be some people hating and enjoying the day. Hearing about Alyse's stalker freaks me out. That's why I don't show my face on the vids, and I question even putting anything out there online. Yeah, it's real. You become big enough and you start to get stalkers. I mean, let's be honest here. Alyse is really fucking famous. I can walk through the mall with her and people will stop her and ask her, you know, oh my God, are you Alyse? They want to meet her. They want to take a picture with her. Seen it happen a lot. And also, on top of that, you've got people that she doesn't want to interact with necessarily that will go out of their way to follow her around. And that's definitely something that happens. It's really weird, and you really start to wonder what the hell is going on with people's minds. Takes a while to get to the stalker level. Yeah. I'd say stalker level doesn't even begin until, 100,000 subscribers. But then again, you could have some real wacky people. I think it also depends on your audience. Daryl's talking about colostrum. Yeah, colostrum I keep hearing about is amazing. I haven't been doing dairy lately. Oh, by the way, guys, today is my first day off my cut. I'm sort of giving up on that for now. I got decently lean, but I'm turning it around. Starting today, I'm going to be a little bit more. I'm going to eat a lot more food. Basically, I'm going to start eating more food, and I'm pumped about it. Really Organic says, I've heard so many stories from female YouTubers who had scary stalkers. Some dudes are really ill. I mean, are any stalkers females or are they always guys? I don't know the stats on that, but I would probably venture to say that most stalkers are going to be guys. I'm sure there's some crazy chicks out there, definitely. But, So dark. That's why Drew's keeping it a steady 4,200. Yeah, I don't want any more subscribers. Do not hit the subscriber button. I don't want to get too big. Peace out, Meg. Yeah, she'll probably look into the sinus issue, and I think she was even talking about potentially getting scanned in the next week or two. So she's definitely full force on this, trying to solve this problem. So Dark wants hot female stalkers. You get big enough, you make enough money, you're going to have hot female stalkers. That's the way it works. Females don't have enough power to stalk. I don't know, man. There's some... I could be overtaken by a big enough woman, I think. I'm only 5'10", 145 right now. Hawaii is humid, of course. It's very moist there. Everything is surrounded by bacteria and mold in Hawaii. I mean, to give you an example of how bad the rain was in Hilo, there's certain periods of the year where it's so wet that it's raining 24/7 for over 2 weeks straight at a time. Literally. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. And our clothes and the insides of our shoes were getting mold on them because nothing has a chance to dry out. It is really crazy. It's almost like you're sleeping in a wet rag. When you get into your bed at night, the bed is wet. You get used to it, but it's not entertaining. It's not enjoyable. Megan, can you confirm that? Please do not stalk me so dark. Please do not. Yeah, you don't want stalkers, hot or not. Hot or not. I'm in agreement, Alexandra. By the way, do I know you, Alexandra? I feel like your name is very... I feel like I know that name. Yeah, Megan has a dehumidifier next to her bed. Exactly. Just in order to keep the room temperature dry. It warms the room up a little bit, but it also keeps the temp dry. Or not the temperature dry. Sorry, I'm reading the chat. My brain does not do multiple things at a time. My Life in the Sunshine says, I love rain. We get some awesome dry rain here. Vegas rain is different from Hawaii rain. Thank you for coming on the show, Alyse. I'm assuming I'll see you later today. I'll text you after I'm out of here. Yeah, dehumidifiers use a lot of electricity, and electricity is very expensive in Hawaii, like 4 times the national average or something. We've had some crazy electricity bills. in Hawaii. All right, guys, I think we might actually make this a relatively short stream today. Only 2 hours, 11 minutes. We had our guest on, Alyse Parker, already today. If you aren't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel. We have Mississippi Vegan Timothy coming on Wednesday. And we'll be talking to another vegan. So this will be interesting. We're going to get some contrast here. I like having some contrast. Make sure that you guys do hit the subscribe button so that you know all the updates that are coming on the channel. I do lives typically Wednesday and Saturdays. If you're new here, around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I did try and get a hold of Tanny Raw, but she ghosted me once again, even though she commented on my channel. I tried to get her to come on the channel, but she has not yet. I want to talk to her more. I want to get Tanny, Granny Tanny. All right, guys. I hope that you all have a lovely weekend. Enjoy your Saturday. And you'll see me on Wednesday. So, once again, peace, subscribe, goodbye. Have a good day.